let's jump into Keyword Finder. Let's go ahead and do a little keyword research and find some opportunities. And we're gonna do the same thing we've been doing. We're gonna use our lookalike method, which is a fun way to find some keywords and maybe find discover some keywords we wouldn't discover otherwise. They're very targeted with very little effort, very little time spent. So give me something you guys want to research. Give me something you guys would like to research. You know, we're in digital marketing Orlando. We got Web Center. What's something you guys want to research? Let's think of a business. What's a niche? What's an industry? Chiropractors, Gregory says. Chiropractors. Okay, let's do chiropractors Dallas. We're gonna do chiropractors Dallas. There's two reasons why. Dallas is a big city. Very big city, which means it's very competitive potentially, but also it's very useful because there's a lot of data about Dallas. When we search for a big city like this, and chiropractors Dallas, probably not the best, right? Chiropractor Dallas would have been better. But when we search for a big city like this, we're learning a lot because there's a lot of data to be had, right? So there's 208 searches. Now, let's go to the map here. Let's go to maps, google.com. As you can see, I am here in Mexico at the moment. Okay, so let's go down. Let's go look at Dallas here. Now, is there likely that Dallas is huge, right? It's a massive city. I think it's like 8 million people, something like that. And in the last 10 years, it's like almost tripled in size. So, but now let's go to like McKinney, right? McKinney's not very big, right? McKinney's like tiny. But so do we think that there's as much data, as much searching going on? If we have a sample, right? All we have is a little sample of this fire hose of search data. We don't have the whole picture. We don't get to know about every search that happens. Only Google knows that, right? And Google doesn't share that, that's for sure. It never really has. So what we get is a little tiny sampling of the searching that's going on. Now, in our little sample, how much data do you think we have about McKinney versus Dallas, right? Probably a big difference. So when we search for Dallas, we're getting a lot of data, and then we can go apply that data in these other little areas around Dallas. Does that make sense? Like I can apply all this Dallas data to Rockwall probably very effectively. So Dallas is a really good place for us to search for some stuff. Even if we're gonna let's look at McKinney as an example. McKinney, Texas chiropractor. I'm going to put Texas in there because I don't know how many McKinneys there are out there, right? There could be more states with McKinneys. It's not so big that it's like Dallas. That it's like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, 15. Look at that, guys, 15. So if we were, most of us are probably working with businesses in some little place like McKinney. Let's be real, right? That's where a lot of our customers are going to be. Now, if this is all we had inside of Keyword Finder to find a chiropractic keyword, this would be a little frustrating, right? Has anyone run into this yet? I'm sure you have. I'm sure somebody's run into this where you're like, well, that's kind of anticlimactic, right? I'm not finding what I thought I would here. But let's go back in here. Let's go to Dallas now. And look, we got a lot of stuff here to work with. So now what we want to do though is we want to sort through these. So just like in any keyword tool, our first job in this big list is figure out what's actually useful to us. Our very first day, we talked about what's the right kind of keyword, right? It's all about intent. What's someone intending to do when they type it in? So chiropractors in Dallas, Texas, they're looking for chiropractors in Dallas, Texas. When someone types chiropractors that are open today, they're actually looking for a chiropractor open right now. But here's the problem. This isn't in Dallas. This is just like the whole country. So 1,300 people a day, or a month rather, are typing in chiropractors that are open today in our sample data across the whole country. So this isn't really useful to us. But chiropractors that are open today, Dallas, that's probably useful, right? That's probably at least a better picture. And chiropractors that are open today is still a useful phrase for us to know. But chiropractors in Portland, Oregon is entirely not useful, right? And it's still in our list here because it's related. So And this happens in any tool, right? Like the way these databases work, this happens in any kind of keyword tool. So what we want to do is sort through these. And there's a lot of ways we can do that. We can hunt and pick and make a list. Like this is kind of a typical workflow, right? Chiropractors in Houston, chiropractors in Dallas, chiropractors in Dallas, Texas, chiropractic Dallas, Texas. We're just going to kind of go through and like, oh, not that one, and kind of go to the next one. That takes forever, right? So I'm going to uncheck all this. That takes forever. We could also go and find the ones we don't like level 1 trauma centers in Dallas. Probably not right for chiropractors, right? Or how do chiropractors know where to adjust? Probably useful for a chiropractic website, but maybe not the highest buyer intent that we want to start with in our searching. So we could hide those, right? I can go here and hide the keywords. But again, this is a very time-consuming process. So the best thing to do is just grab everything. Let's grab all the keywords and let's send all of them to our chat over here. So I've got 206 keywords in my chat. And now I'm just going to ask AI to do all the work for me. What are the best 50 keywords in my list for a chiropractor in Dallas, Texas, or in Dallas to get new patients? So we're going to ask it to do some sorting for us. And it didn't give us as many as we wanted, but it did give us 16. And look at them. These are all very targeted. So all of these are pretty good. This one's I'm not so excited about. But these are decent, right? So let's go ahead and select these. I've highlighted them now. I'm going to select them over here by just hitting select. So now I've got them selected. So I know I want to analyze these. Most of them have great volume. They're all very much exactly the right kind of phrase. So let's go ahead and analyze them. But this isn't where we want to stop because this is not that many keywords. In fact, I'd like to have a list of at least, when I'm working with a client, I'm probably looking for a list of around 100 would be something to start with maybe, right? And maybe I'm going to focus on 5 or 10 like the very, very beginning, but I really want to have a much bigger list. So let's go ahead and analyze all these, but let's ask for more. So now what I'm going to do, it's going to complain because I've got analyzed keywords in here now. And I'm also going to have some new keywords I'm going to add. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it, give me a list of 50 more keywords with the same semantic value and buyer intent for a chiropractor in Dallas. And I'm going to let it come up with its own ideas for 50 more that are the right ones. And let's see what kind of results it gives us. Chiropractic Clinic Dallas, Dallas Chiropractic Services, Chiropractic Adjustment Dallas, Local Chiropractors Dallas, Dallas Chiropractic Care, Affordable Chiropractors, Top-rated chiropractors, right? These are gold. This is exactly what we're looking for, guys. This is good stuff. So now I'm going to take all of this I've selected. Now I'm going to add them into here. So I'm going to add my keywords in. And so you can see 4 of them already existed, but 50, like out of the 50, there are 40, 46 that are new. So let's go ahead and add these in. And now we'll have 46 more keywords we can actually add to our list and analyze. And now we've got a much more substantial group of keywords here. So you'll see that a lot of these have volume, right? Chiropractic Adjustment Dallas is volume, this is volume, this is volume. Now, can we research these ones that don't have volume? Is there a reason, is it worth it to us to research them? Give me some feedback, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and add these to my analyze list while you guys are answering. And by the way, if I want to go back to all the ones I've imported up here on the top, I can hit imported. These are all the imported ones, right? So I know I'm going to want to go through and find anything that's got volume and analyze that. But should I just analyze the rest of it? Steve says, "Why? Can you explain the semantic value and why we should include that in our chat?" So semantic value is like, so it's like the word semantic, we don't use it very much in the English language, but it's a really good word because what it means is, right, like the meaning of the word. It's like the semantic value is the actual meaning of the word. So it's like if you and I are having an argument and we're disagreeing, but only because we're using words we're saying things and using the words in ways that don't mean the same thing. Like maybe you're saying search results and I'm saying search results, but we mean something different. Well, we can say, well, that's just semantics, right? We're just having a semantic difference. Well, the semantic value is the meaning of the word. So it's just a very concise, easy way for me to say, hey, I want you to find more words that have the same meaning and the same buyer intent. So that's why I'm using that phrase, which is pretty effective, right? So the answer to the other question, which you guys are awful quiet today, the answer to the other question is, yeah, we can analyze all the rest of this. There's no reason not to, right? We can analyze the rest of this because it's so easy for us to create this stuff, and we don't know if it has volume, right? One of the things David showed you during the presentation is that we don't really know what the volume of these is. It's not in the sample data, so we don't know, right? Google hasn't told us. We put less than 10 because we don't know, it could be less than 10, but we do know it does have some volume. We've checked it against Google Suggest, and it's pretty unlikely there's something in there that people have never searched before, right? That would be kind of an absurd idea that Google would invent things to show you that no one had ever searched for. Like that, there's no logic there. So we know people search for these things. We just don't know how much, right? So we don't want to prioritize them as highly as the ones that we know people are searching for because we don't know what the volume is like. Right? I mean, look at this one. This one we know has volume every month. Chiropractic adjustment Dallas has got 8 weak spots. Holy moly, right? Like we should probably do this one first before we do this one. Everyone agree? Right? Like, wouldn't it make more sense for us to focus on where we know there's some proven volume? That said, it still could be some of these could have much more volume than we think, right? So let's just go ahead and select this page and let's just go and analyze the whole thing. No, I did make a mistake there. I should have unchecked the ones I'd analyzed because now it's going to reanalyze them. So I've kind of spent my credits twice on those, which was not brilliant. I just wanted to point out that because you shouldn't do that. But that said, guys, we're going to have all these to look at. So let's go back to all again here. There's a bunch of weak spots. This is great. Okay, let's go to all our keywords. And you can see we've got tons of opportunity here. Tons of opportunity. So if I wanted to enter the contest, guys, after doing my research, I literally was going to make a screenshot like this. Look at all that traffic. Now these are the same number. This means these are all being grouped together, right? So we don't really know individually, but just so you're clear on how that works, it's pretty obvious to me these are being grouped together. But even then, the traffic numbers the way that these traffic numbers work is they're a good way to explain it to a client in the potential traffic. They're a good way to compare them against each other, but they're not really like written in stone, right? Like I wouldn't trust them implicitly. Like they're a good guide stone. They're a good like guidance mechanism. But all of the metrics we use in SEO are really just guidance. Like none of it's written in stone. Like that's the way you should understand it. Okay, so I would just take this and I'll hop over here to the Facebook group and I would start dropping a comment in here. I would just go and create a new post. Look at all this incredible traffic I just found for chiropractors in Dallas inside Keyword Finder. And then I'm going to drop my screenshot in there. Not sure why it's not coming up correctly. Maybe I screenshot something weird, but that's what I'm going to do. I'll put my screenshot in there and then I'm going to hashtag it Keyword Finder and hashtag free traffic. That's it. Now I've done it, right, guys? I have done my, if I drop my screenshot in there, I've basically created my entry. I could do that 3 times. And so I could actually even take this one search. If I wanted to, I could take this one search and break it up into 3 pieces and say, all right, here's my 3, right? Like we've only been doing this for 10 minutes, guys, just so you know. It's not a huge deal to jump in on this contest. But now what do we do with this? Like, how do we, what's the next step? The next step is we need to figure out something we're going to create content around. So let me, there's more stuff analyzed that's not showing. Let me sort my SERP analysis here. So there we go. Now we can see everything, right? So I'm gonna kind of prioritize this. I'm gonna say where's the stuff that's easy to rank that also has volume, like chiropractic in Dallas. This is pretty, look at that. Spot number 2 spot number 4, 6. I mean, these are, now if we just want to see this is the search results on the right-hand side, guys, just so everyone who's new, this is the top 10 results of search. So for chiropractor with X-Ray Dallas, these are the 10 sites that come up. And the green ones are the ones that are not that strong, meaning we can compete with them. Does that make sense? Is everybody on the same page? If they were gray like this one down here, we can't compete with that. Now let's make sure our recipe is set correctly. So how do we know what recipe we're on? The upper right-hand corner, this little recipe button tells us the recipe that we're using. Now I'm using a recipe that's actually for a fairly weak website. So these are pretty good, right? This is set pretty well. Now imagine if I had like a really strong website and I could change my recipe up and I can update it. And now we can go back here and we're actually going to find that everything, let's go back in here again. Look at that, guys. Now that we have a strong website, like we have a really robust website and we've set a recipe up to find low-hanging fruit for that. Look at that. It's everything. It's everything. Does that make sense? Like everything is weak because we have a really strong website profile. So that's how the recipe can change things. Does everyone follow that? All right, let's change it back to our 15-week spot. Or no, actually, where were we at? We were in our 18. The one you're going to come up with that's baked in right now is this one right here. We can actually go to that one if you want, which is a good one, by the way. So we're going to do that one. And then let's go ahead and go back out of here and go back in. We can see still tons and tons and tons of opportunity here. Okay, so the way I would sort these is like I would look at the ones that have big traffic and I would optimize for that for chiropractic Dallas, Texas. That's a really good keyword phrase. So I'm going to create a brief for this. So how do I do that? I'm going to check the box. I'm going to hit create brief in the lower hand corner. So now it's off doing its thing. It's being started. It's going to take a minute to research, but it'll pop back up here in a second when it's done. Now let's answer some questions. I know you guys got lots of questions. If you want to rank for all the keywords, which may show up in the next year? Keith, if you can rephrase your question, I don't fully wrap my head around it. Can you please explain keyword prompts and analyze prompts buttons in the chat window? Are these so we're building out? We have a bunch of prompts that we need to build out into this. That essentially all that stuff I typed in, we're in the process right now of putting that in here. So you can literally, you're going to be able to just click a button in here. It's not there yet. We're adding it in, but you're going to be able to click a button and it's just going to do that for you. So that way you don't have to remember, like, remember when I typed this in, give me 50 keywords, what are the best 50? You're not going to have to type this stuff in. It's just going to be there. You're just going to click a button. So that's what that is. It's just right now it's not implemented yet. It's brand new, right? We have all kinds of new features we're adding to this, by the way. So you might see some things and you're like, what's this? But it's just because we're adding all kinds of new stuff. So that is why. When a client can't dedicate their homepage to a niche, what's the likelihood of ranking in one of the page one of the results? Also, a strategic ranking page one results they can share with us as an example case study. Well, that's what you guys are all here doing with us right now. That's what you're all doing here with us right now. Does that make sense? And I guess, and I professionally rank things on page one all the time as as part of it's part of how I make my money. so I do that all the time, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of phrases all the time. But you guys are going to do that. You guys are going to, like, you can be that case study, Warren. You can be that case study. But the other thing we'll do is we'll do some more of that too. So another thing you should be aware of, guys, next week, and we'll send an email out about this. Next week on Tuesday, we're going to start our SEO class. So you're going to have a whole course where David is going to walk through how to do all the other pieces of the SEO puzzle. Because ranking something is not just finding the keyword, right? There are all kinds of other tactics and strategies you can use. There's all kinds of other nuances and things that could be involved. So you're going to have access to all of that. And if you want to walk away with from all of this, understanding how do I do SEO on a really a level that you could do professionally, you will absolutely have that opportunity, just so you know. But that is a great question. That is a great question. And yeah, I think a bunch of you are going to rank stuff here as we're launching this thing. How do you prevent the near me from popping up the results from our search for a keyword? Oh, that's a great question. let's go back to the beginning. And one of the things I want you to notice is our advanced settings, right? So if I'm typing in, let's type in chiropractor Atlanta, right? Our chiropractic theme here. Now, if I don't want certain things to show up, I can go advanced settings, exclude keywords near me. What else would we like to exclude? I probably don't want to look for, I don't want people who are looking for jobs, school, education, right? What are some other ones, guys? Any other ideas? What are some words we want to exclude from our search, right? Salary, oh, that's a good one. Salary. These are negative words. And if you're used to doing any online advertising, you probably already have some familiarity with this concept. In fact, when I do online advertising, I have like 500 of these I add. I just paste them all in. But Tim says how to. Yeah, maybe you may want to exclude how to, like DIY or something like that. Now, that said, it really can it can depend. Sometimes you want the DIY stuff, but it totally depends on the project, right? So regardless, though, now I'm going to exclude all this stuff. So when I search for this, now that stuff's not baked in. Does that make sense? I'm getting rid of that stuff from the beginning. Yeah, Jose says school, right? Class, we go on. Yeah, I totally agree. So there's lots more we could go. And so one of the things I would recommend for yourself is just make yourself like a list of negative keywords. In fact, you could even ask ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm looking for all kinds of negative keywords I can use in my research for keywords for SEO. Can you make me a list of the top ones? And it would spit one out for you, right? Now, there's clearly some kind of an issue because I'm getting those results, right? So I want you to be aware that this is like a known bug, but this is how you're going to eliminate it. So I'll let you know when this is not doing that, right? Or it's giving you this, but that is how you do it. So this is the exclude words filter. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that it's buggy. It's buggy today. We're finding little things. We're still finding little things. If you find a little thing that we need to fix or correct, let us know because we're making improvements to the software literally all the time. In fact, there's even features being added you don't know about, so it's gonna be fun. But all right, now Mark says, can a keyword which includes near me be a keyword to rank or just drop the near me? So Mark, here's how you rank for near me, in my opinion. And you can find other opinions out there, but my opinion is this. If you want to rank for near me, rank for your city because Google knows where people are. Does it make sense? Like if your client is in, Madison, Wisconsin, and you rank a page in Madison, Wisconsin for Madison, Wisconsin, you have a business profile in Madison, Wisconsin for them set up. You're listed in lots of Madison, Wisconsin directories, right? The name, address, and phone number, what we call a NAP. The name, address, and phone numbers in lots of business directories for Madison, Wisconsin. You have maps on your site with Madison, Wisconsin as the map. You have, you have like the words Madison, Wisconsin in the title and in the H1 and all the places you would use to optimize for that. Then when someone who's sitting in Madison, Wisconsin types in near me, what's going to happen is they're going to get a mix of two things. The first thing they're going to get is they're going to get the maps result to show up. And the maps result is going to use the geographic location of the person to show them what's actually near them, right? And there's not really a good way for you to manipulate that unless you can put your client right next to them, right? So that's one thing. You can't really game that too much, and that's become more true lately. That now the other thing it's going to do is it's going to show you organic results, which is going to be based on how well you optimized. So the map results, you can get better rankings in maps. But when someone types in near me, that's a geographic search, and Google's trying to give them geographic results based on the location, and that is the #1 ranking factor. The organic results, though, if you've ranked for that city, then you probably still have a good chance of showing up, if that makes sense. Angel says, I had Vancouver and Washington all my keywords in the search because otherwise I get a ton of results from Vancouver, British Columbia, which is a much larger city. Yeah, that's a good point, right? And there's all kinds of little nuances like that. So when you're using a tool like this, guys, you just got to kind of be thoughtful, right? Be thoughtful about what you're doing. And just, if you see like a little issue, like that's smart, Angela. Yeah, if you put in Vancouver and you're getting all kinds of stuff from Vancouver, British Columbia, then that's not what your target is, then obviously just making a little adjustment is a good idea. So yeah, and I would definitely exclude stuff from, like, you don't want to compete with a market you're not in, right? It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. Right, so I'd like to see your whole funnel and how you handle a client from beginning to end. Right, we'll definitely cover quite a bit of that. So there's like 3 different kinds of trainings we're doing, Brian. The first one is we're doing this accelerator training where we want to get everybody's feet wet. We want to get everybody to jump in and everybody to understand how to use the tool. And then the next thing we're doing is we're covering SEO from kind of like a top to bottom perspective of, hey, if you didn't know anything about SEO, but you always wanted to, this is your chance to have input from several very successful SEOs on how to rank all kinds of stuff. Then the next thing we're doing is we're also going to be doing a series of sales trainings. It's one of your bonuses, is a sales training series where we're going to show you this is how to propose your services. This is how you should set up your deals. This is how you build them, like all that stuff. We can dive into all that, and I'm happy to answer any kind of questions about all that stuff too. I'm an open book about any of that stuff. Okay, Mark says, makes sense. So if the keyword results say chiropractor for back pain near me, but chiropractor for back pain, it's really good keyword. So we should use the keyword chiropractor for back pain city. So I would search for it with the city because that gives you a better understanding of the local competition. If you just type in like chiropractor near me, you're actually trying to look at the data for the whole country, and it doesn't tell you if there's any kind of weakness in that. Does that make sense? And it's going to be totally different if you're in Los Angeles or if you're in, Oklahoma City, or if you're in some little tiny town in the middle of nowhere, right? It's going to be totally different. So that's why I'd say it's really important to put the names of the city, and that's why kind of we teach to do that. It gives you a much more localized understanding, and this, of course, applies for local marketing. That's what most of us do, is we do a lot of marketing for local businesses. If you're doing affiliate, or you're doing stuff that's nonprofits, or you're doing e-commerce, or you're doing all kinds of other things, then none of that applies, right? You can totally just skip that. It doesn't even matter. Like, you can focus on the national stuff and not even worry about all this local stuff. But if you're doing those other things, you hopefully are savvy enough to know that too. So that's why I don't really talk about it much. But so Mark said, I'm trying to wrap my head around this near me stuff. Well, just go to Google and type in Mexican food near me, or go type in 10 best things to do for fun near me. You will find Google knows where you are. It knows exactly where you are, and it will find the things near you. Does that make sense? So it's doing the sifting and the sorting about that. So if you rank for content in that city, and the people are near that city, then they're going to find you. Does it make sense? You're ranking for it in a roundabout kind of way. So as much as we focus on the keywords and the exact keywords, and that's still a good strategy, right? Like chiropractic therapy Dallas, chiropractic with X-ray Dallas, pediatric chiropractor Dallas, gentle chiropractor Dallas. Like, these are all variations. These are all like little variations on phrases. It's still useful to try and rank for these very specific phrases. However, Google's very smart. It knows that if you're a pediatric chiropractor Dallas, it knows what pediatric means. Does that make sense? It knows that it knows all the other variations of this word, and it might still rank you for that other stuff. In fact, it likely will. So that's the other thing to know, is that you're going to focus on ranking on these keywords. It doesn't mean you're not going to rank for other stuff. In fact, Google, if you were to create content around all these and start ranking for a lot of this stuff, Google will rank you for dozens or hundreds of other keywords on its own without you ever even lifting a finger, right? Without you even having to have a brief for it or do research for it or any of those things. Does that make sense? We're just trying to tell you, here's a great place to start. Here's where to start creating content. This is the place to enter the marketplace. This is the place to begin the journey. Does that make sense? We're helping you. We're helping you get the process going. Janiko says, as long as you're not using a VPN, Google knows where you are. Even if you're using a VPN, Janiko, Google probably still knows where you are, believe it or not. They got 30 million data points on you. I guarantee you they know the IMEI numbers of your devices, and they probably know things about us that we wouldn't even want to think about. And sadly, VPNs, people think VPNs make them safe. But the truth is that VPNs funnel all the traffic through a single source and make all of their data go through one place. So VPNs make you safe from certain things, but VPNs do not make you safe from huge data companies that know a ton about you because it's all your traffic went through one place from the VPN. Google sometimes thinks I'm like 20 blocks west. Yeah, Jeremy, that's true, right? That's true. And also, like, Google can get confused. Like if you were in one part of town and then later on you're in the next part of town, it could be confused. It's not magic. It's not magic, but it will catch up and figure it out, right? Mark said, I understand how near me works, but in search, but not so much understanding how to use it for ranking websites or content. So here's my biggest suggestion about near me. Just ignore it. Rank for the city, rank for the location, rank for the right. Like, so I have like a fence contractor client in a big city, and there are about 10 different neighborhoods or suburbs of that big city, and I want to rank him for all of them. Does that make sense? But I focus on all those little suburb areas and ranking for all those little suburb areas, and he gets traffic from all those little suburb areas. And near me will work in all of those, right? But I never worked on near me or focus on near me, but he's still going to get traffic from it. Like, just focus on the city and just don't even worry about near me. That's how I approach it. Tim says we should add some search to the reports. That's not a bad idea. If you go here to the keyword reports, you'll notice, right? So this is the dashboard, right? And like quickly, you're going to have like hundreds of these, and you're going to be like, oh, I can't find anything. Come here to keyword reports, and you'll see that you can filter, right? You can search. You can decide how many you want to look at. You want to look at 100 at a time, you can, right? So, so we agree, Tim, but that's where you find it, right there. Mark says, you're saying that the monthly volume for dentists in Seattle would also include dentists near me when a person is at search in Seattle? It could, Mark. It could. Yeah. You have to understand that the way Google groups the data it provides, it will often group keywords together and provide the data as a group instead of providing it as an individual variation. It doesn't like to get, like, the truth is Google gives us pretty terrible data. I'm like totally honest with you. Google doesn't, Google is the person we have to impress, but they're not our friend. It's like, let's put it that way. In fact, Google used to give us a lot more information about what people were searching for, what people were coming to our website and all of that. And these days, it's not even like, it's just miserably bad. Gigo says, what do I do when those little circles come up for Yelp? I clicked on them and it showed me a page of multiple businesses. How am I supposed to know which one is represented in that Yelp logo? So that page, Janiko, that page is represented. All of those businesses that are showing up there, they're all represented. That whole page is represented. Screen capture software I use is called Lightshot. It's a Chrome plugin called Lightshot. Do you find the direct prompt in ChatGPT seems to generate a better result or more complete than Keyword Finder chat with the API? I'm not sure I fully understand the question, Gregory. You gotta give me a little more context. All right, we've gone almost about an hour. Does anyone have any big questions I've missed? Now, a couple of you have reported that you were having some technical difficulties. I have just reported that to the team and told them it's urgently something that needs to be dealt with right now. So if that was one of you, I think Brian, you reported something. Who else reported? A couple of you reported something. Just want to let you know that I made sure to kind of turn the temperature on those up on our team, let them know, hey, this can't go on. This has to get resolved right now. So that will happen. I promise you. And we'll get today's replay out to you, but we have today, Saturday, and Sunday to get your contest submissions in. And then next week, we have 5 more sessions like this, guys. So if you have questions, if you get stuck, if you need something, if you're lost, if you just want to, if you just have a question about any of this stuff, you're always welcome to come and ask it. I'll be here every single day, same time, same place, same link, right? And I will look forward to seeing everybody on Monday. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And if there's a last minute question I've missed, please type it in now because I'm going to go ahead and and jump off here. And Sam is asking, do you try to add keywords according to the main idea so that you can create different pages or rank for different groupings of keywords? Sam, that's a great question. So yes, so I try not to create pages that compete with each other, right? I try to create pages that compete with each other, but so we need to talk about, clustering and pillar articles and the hub and spoke model. And there's all kinds of ways you can approach this, right? Different people have different ideas, and we could talk about some of that next week, but we'll definitely get into that because it can become an issue. You can do something bad to yourself called keyword cannibalization, where you create a bunch of pages that compete with each other and then none of them do really well. And so we'll show you some ways to avoid that, but we'll get deeper into that topic. That's a very good, astute question. So we will get there though. And Angela says, we can post 3 Facebook entries in each for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Correct. Yeah, so you can post 9 times, guys. 3 for today, 3 for tomorrow, 3 for Sunday. You can post more than that, but those are the ones we will count. So you absolutely can. All right, everyone. Well, it was great. It has been a great week with all of you. If you're just jumping in, welcome. Again, if you need access to the training, it's right here. I'm going to drop yesterday's training in the chat for you just so you have quick access to it. But so much more to go over. We have all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to talk about how the reporting features in here work, how that works for things like prospecting and using all this as a lead magnet. And there's all kinds of stuff we're going to get to at the end of next week as well. So I'm excited for the future. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.